Gus Cannon's Hollywood Rag, originally a banjo tune, but here on the baritone uke. So let's look at first of all how I've managed to get that from the banjo to the baritone. Here I am on 5-string banjo. Now, Gus Cannon played the 5-string banjo, and he frequently played in what's called C tuning. Now, the 5-string banjo is commonly tuned to open G, this little short string G, and then D, G, B, D. Well, this tune doesn't actually use the short string, so we've just got the 4 long strings. D, G, B, D. That's very close to a baritone uke's D, G, B, E. I just have to lower 1 string on the baritone and it matches. However, on this particular tuning, it's not D, G, B, D, it's C, G, B, D, because to get into that tuning, you would lower the lowest string of the banjo down a tone. So to emulate that on the baritone uke, what we have to do is we have to take our first string, which should be at E, and lower it to a D. And then we would have D, G, B, D. Now that's exactly the same as a 5-string banjo's long 4 strings. But for this tune, we then have to take our low D, and you do need a low D on your baritone for this one. It doesn't work with a re-entrant tuning, I'm afraid. But you take that D down to C. So we end up with these notes: C, G, which is the same as normal, B, which is the same as normal, and D. C, G, B, D. Now this is exactly the same as C tuning or drop C tuning. It has different names on the banjo, but it's exactly the same as those long 4 strings. So now I can play on here exactly what I was playing on my 5-string banjo. So let's have a look at the tune. Hollywood Rag was written by Gus Cannon, who was a legendary banjo player in the jug band, his own jug band, Cannon's Jug Stompers. And he put out some amazing records, and he was a bit of a lightning player. Would also have a jug mounted on a neck brace so he could play the jug and play the banjo at the same time. Do check out Gus Cannon, Gus Cannon's Jug Stompers records. You'll find lots of their stuff online. It really is amazing music. So this is almost all single note playing. There are just a couple of places where we play a chord. And even though you don't have to play it fast, it's the fact that these notes just keep coming incessantly, and you have to keep it going to keep that nice bouncy feel. That's what makes this one a real challenge. So let's break it up into little bits, because there's a fair amount of repetition. You'll probably want to, before we start, follow the link in the description and grab the PDF of the tablature for this so you can follow along. We start on the 3rd string. Now I'm going to talk about the strings as 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. The 1st string being the one nearest the floor and the 4th string being nearest the ceiling. And I'm going to do that because if I start calling them by note names, 2 of them aren't note names that we normally would have on the baritone uke, so it could get confusing. So we'll start on our 3rd string, and I'm doing all of this with my thumb and my index finger. And you'll find the best way to do this. You could play it with a pick if you wanted to as well. Try out some different things. You might want to use 2 fingers. I'm going to start on my 3rd string and go open, 2, 3, and that's my little run in to this first little pattern. Then we go to our 2nd string, open, and then our 1st string, the 5th fret, 3rd fret, open, and then our 2nd string, open, and then our 3rd string, open, which is taking us back into that little walk up. So we get and again, and this time round, instead of going up to the 3rd, we go back down to the open 3rd string. So that's our first phrase. And notice I'm giving it this nice swing feel, this kind of loping rhythm. It's It's not all straight. It's ba-bum, 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 like a heartbeat. Ba-bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. So that's our first phrase. Here's our second phrase. We're going down to the 4th fret of our 4th string. Then back onto our 3rd string, open, 2nd, and our 2nd string, open, 1st, back to our 2nd string, open, 2nd, open. And then we're going to repeat that in a second, so we've got this. Then we go back down, do it again, and then we have another little walk up, and that takes us back to the first pattern. And then the second pattern. So as you can see, that first part of the tune is really just 2 patterns that run into each other. So let's get that bit down. 1, 2, 3. And again. And we stop there, we don't do this, no run here, there's a little breather, and then we have our first chords. Now don't get too hung up on the rhythm here, because on the original record, on different passes through the tune, Gus Cannon would do different things with the rhythm here. But the chords are very simple. 1 finger over the highest 2 strings at the 1st fret. And then we raise up the note on the 1st string to the 2nd fret. So now I'm holding the 2nd string at the 1st fret and the 1st string at the 2nd fret. And I can also include my open 3rd string at this point if I want to. So we get this. And then we're into another little run that brings the first half of the tune to a close. We start on our 2nd fret and start with your 2nd finger, because we're going to the 1st fret with our 1st finger, back to the 2nd, 3rd fret, 3rd finger, all happening on the 3rd string. Then the open 2nd string, open 3rd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, open 2nd string, and then this lovely little descending run to finish. 1st fret on our 2nd string, 2nd fret on our 3rd string, same string open, 4th fret on our 4th string, and this is the only time we need this low note at the very end of each section, and that's our open 4th string. So from the chords we get this. And that's the first half of the tune. So let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Right, now the second half of the tune. We start off with the second half of the tune with this little rolling, repeating riff of open 3rd string, then the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and then the open 2nd string. And we do this. That happens 4 times, but because there are 3 notes in the pattern, da, 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 this is a classic ragtime syncopation. We're used to hearing things in 2s and 4s. We're repeating 3 notes, which means those notes end up falling on different beats each time, pushing that rhythm forward. and then a little run down, 2nd fret again, open 3rd string, 4th fret on our 4th string, and then down to that really low C on our open 4th string again. Then we do a very similar kind of thing. We're going to have our 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then we're going to play that note, then the open 3rd string and the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and it's another little 3-note pattern. Back to the 1st fret of the 2nd string, open 3rd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, and again. We do that 3 times, so starting from the beginning of that bar with the nice low open 4th string. And then we finish it off with the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and then we're into the same thing again. The first little pattern, and the 2nd pattern. And then it changes. 1st fret, open, 3rd fret on your 3rd string, and our final little run to bring the tune to a close is very similar to the one we had before. We start on our 2nd fret with our 2nd finger on the 3rd string, 2, 1, 2, open 2nd string, 1, open 1 on that string, back to the 3rd string, 2nd fret, open 3rd string, and for the 2nd time we have some chords. Open, open, 1, 2. That's, in this tuning, is a C chord. And then our final little run, 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, then open 2nd string, open 3rd string, 2nd fret, 3rd string, open 2nd string, and that little run again. And that bit is just like the end of the 1st section. So here's the whole 2nd section of the tune. And then you can go round as many times as you like. So let's do the whole tune really, really slowly and see if you can play along. When we count it in, it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. So we come in on the and after the 3. 1, 2, 3. Second part of the tune. Now, of course, if you're not a baritone player, but you have a concert or tenor uke with a low 4th on, you could do the same thing. You'd just be in a different key. What you've got to do is lower your highest string down a tone. So On a C-tuned ukulele, G-C-E-A, your A string would go down to G, and your low G would have to go down to a low F by a tone. Both of your outside two strings down 2 semitones, 2 frets worth. As I say, you'll be in a different key, but you'll still be able to play the tune even if you haven't got a baritone. Do check out Gus Cannon's original recording of this. It's a great fun tune and they play it in such a great lively way you really can't help but tap your feet to it. It's fantastic stuff. I hope you've enjoyed this and I'll see you again soon. Bye.